How's it going, everyone? My name is Carter. This week we're going to be looking at the final vignette video that was shared. This is the last week. We're going to be analyzing Keith and Sharon and their marital problems, and why they went to counseling and what is going on in this situation here. So there's some first thoughts and issues. I didn't write down. I have a lot of notes that I wrote down, but I didn't write down everything. Some stuff that just came to mind, obviously as I'm recording as well. Will be shared. There's going to be some extra stuff, maybe some stuff left out, which is why it's good to have the video and the notes shared and submitted. So some first thoughts or some issues that I realized is obviously this is not their first session. The counselor had them do some homework. I'm assuming maybe their second session, but we can't really assume that. But they have been here before. They have seen this guy before, this counselor. Right off the bat, we can tell that there is a major marital problem. And this is something I may disagree with, because at the end, the counselor said that he's kind of assuming that there is an issue here, which I don't know if I necessarily agree with. He said, "I'm going to tell you what's wrong with your marriage." That's really forward, and that's really straight. I don't know how harsh you need to be. I wasn't really sure on that area, if it's okay to just assume that there is a problem with their marriage. Obviously, that's why they came to counseling, so maybe it's okay to just assume that. But the way he said it, it seemed very upfront and forward. I'm not really sure if I would say it like that. He literally said, "I'm going to tell you what's wrong with your marriage." But then again, they did come in for that, so I can see his point of view on that. So we can assume that there is a major marital problem here. The counselees, Keith and Sharon, avoided eye contact or any sort of communication other than arguing the whole time with each other. They blame each other back and forth. We can see that. They both argue about blaming each other and blame each other at the same time. So that's just some first thoughts and some issues that I saw. Let's move on to Sharon. Right off the bat, she says we go over. The counselor goes over her test first. She's feeling lonely, not cared about, coming from Keith. She describes Keith not caring enough or paying enough. He's not caring enough or not paying enough attention in the first year of their marriage as he did when they were dating. At the end of the day, Sharon rates the relationship at a 3. And let's move on to Keith. That's all I have on Sharon. It seems that she's not really the issue here. I actually don't have any. I think I have one main question for her, but a lot of the questions that I wrote down are for Keith. It seems like maybe a lot of the heart problems are coming from him on his side of the things, but let's focus on him right now. Let's see. Keith, I wrote down that Keith thinks the counseling session is a joke. He does laugh a lot. He uses sarcasm. We can see that he jokes about a lot of different things that she says, and he argues with her. He does not agree with anything that Sharon is saying. He feels that he is the one always being blamed, or that he also seems to think that he is always the one that needs to be fixed. Maybe he is. Maybe he is the one that needs to be fixed in this marriage. He also mentions wanting more sex, or that sex will help this marriage, or that is a factor why it is at a 6. Mentioning the 6, Keith rates the relationship at a 6. He also complains about how counseling is useless and expensive, and it's just not worth his time if all they're going to do is try to fix him, which that could be the case. Some questions I have for both counselees. They can both answer this in their own opinion. Why isn't Keith more open? Why did Keith apparently change from when they were dating to now? This can be mainly for Keith, but this can be answered to both of them. Do you believe sex will save the marriage? Obviously, that's not the case. The way Keith responded to it and the way he used it as an answer, he probably does believe that. That is a factor that will help them communicate better. I'm not really sure how that works. I don't believe in that. In their opinion, what will help them both communicate or talk more? That's a question I have for them. I want to hear it from them. I want to hear how can they how I want to hear from Keith um, if he wants to share his feelings more, or does he even feel like he needs to? Is this just Sharon saying this? Does he share his feelings a lot? If Sharon disagrees, then we have a problem. They're not on the same level here. We see that Sharon complains that he's not sharing his feelings or not talking. Keith immediately says, "I do talk. I'm not a rock. I'm not a stone. I don't just sit there. I do talk." So he does disagree with her. So we have just some we'll have to there could be an underlying issue that we have here. Um, so I would love to hear from both of them what, in their opinion, what will help them both communicate or talk more. I would love to hear that from them. Those are some questions I have for both of them. Some for Keith, some for Sharon. Obviously, some of those they can both answer on. I would love to hear both of their opinions on. So that way I can just have a more of a map of what I'm dealing with here. Speaking of what I'm dealing with, just some outcome or some results that I can pick up from this first or from this second session, maybe. Recommending a next session. I definitely want to see them again. Lack of communication and care. That's the main thing here. I believe that's the first thing I see right off the bat when I just look at this couple. Excuse me. Is a lack of communication. There isn't much care here. There's not much talking, and it doesn't seem that either one wants to work on this. Obviously, they are in marriage counseling, so they want to help. But Keith rated it at a 6, so he doesn't think it's that bad. He even said that he doesn't complain about it. He doesn't gripe. So maybe he doesn't care to fix his marriage, as it seems that way. It seems that he was forced into coming to this because he thinks counseling is expensive and useless and is worth a waste of time. If they're all going to do it, if they're all that we're going to do is fix him, he thinks it's a waste of time. It seems like Sharon is really the one here that wants to fix their marriage. So maybe that's an issue as well. If Keith, sorry, my voice is going out. Excuse me. If Keith is really in this, so lose my voice. I definitely want to ask. There is no indication of if they are believers. There is no talk of religion or of God in this video that we see, or of this session that I'm overwatching. So I definitely want to ask, gently ask if they are believers and where they stand on that. Do they go to church regularly? And based off of their answers on that, maybe introduce some scripture if they're open to it. I think that could be a great start of what the word says they should do in communication wise, or in caring, or in being open with your partner more, and just showing that you do love them, because sometimes actions mean more than words, and sometimes words mean more than actions, right? So obviously Sharon is looking for and maybe Keith can see her on a needy side. He did say that she is controlling, she nags, needs a lot of things. That could be the case, but she's saying that if this is really on her heart and is hurting her, then this is something we need to look into. This is something we need to re-meet on. This is something we need to dig into and see if we can fix it, and see what the problem is here, see what scripture says, and just see where God is at in their marriage here, right? So that's all I have for Keith and Sharon for this session. There's a lot more to find out from them, just from that, I think there's definitely a lack of communication, lack of care, but I definitely want to be there for them, definitely showing passion and showing compassion for them, and letting them know that I do care about what's going on in their relationship. So that's all I have for Keith and Sharon at this time. I will upload this video and the notes and observations that I have. My voice is about to go out, so It has been a long day. Thank you guys for listening, and I can't wait to see your responses as well. Thanks, guys.